Hello, my name is Steve, and I have an unboxing of APBA goodness. So here's my trusty knife, not the knife that had anything to do with me having surgery back on August the 18th with my thumb, which I've almost got use of again from something other than an opposable thumb. I can possibly use it for other things like holding a cup. So, okay, let's see how we're doing here. Okay, the lid is up. Dun, da, da, da. Bubble wrap. Okay, I got an APBA baseball game, Joy Joy. I got that to actually make a gift of it to somebody. I got, what is this? These are 1990 XCs, I'm pretty sure.
The way Mark's TV Network says hello everybody, Jackson State says don't cut your other thumb.
I got the knife put up without any potential 911 calls. These are my 2004. We wouldn't. I'm married to a former nurse. I got 2004 XCs. I got oodles of envelopes. Atlanta are the top team. I got 1990R, and I also got 1976. These are the MasterCards baseball. So I think while I'm here, 2004, I'm going to go through the 1990 XCs, and I could probably see myself putting these in team envelopes.
I'm not sure how it sounds.
Oh, how's the sound? Is the sound okay, everybody?
I turned on here and squealed.
Yeah, I had my earbud thing. I could have let you use it, but you probably don't want to share earwax. She's a germaphobe. Which that's good if you're trying to keep a injured thumb from getting infested when you were doing a compost bin. I think we have that video on her channel, maybe. I'm not sure. I know tomorrow is the Dick Moore, Delaware APBA Fest. Oh, and a friend of mine who's going down there, we were able to talk on the phone for a few minutes this morning into the early afternoon.
You sound good.
Thank you.
Dwayne Mark's TV Network says hope to get my APBA order tomorrow and good sound.
So I placed this order about 9:15 Wednesday evening, and I received it in the mail. Do you remember when we got that in the mail? Was that about 1:15? Yeah. I'm looking to see if they put the receipt in here, and I don't see it. But Okay. This came with the 2024 Final Four teams. And okay, so let's.
Ken Castro says, "Hey, Steve in chat."
Steve in chat or Steve and chat?
Steve and chat.
Well, he's saying hi to the rest of the chat. You're getting the big head thinking he's saying hi, Chas, and hit the wrong letter.
Ken Castro says, "Hey, Dwayne."
Okay.
What are you doing?
Let me see which is which here. What is the two teams I got? 76 doesn't have Seattle. Okay, so this one doesn't have Seattle.
It says, Dwayne says, "That is
that
awesome.
One does.
Place mine Monday afternoon around 1 p.m.
Well, I am maybe a little closer. I'm not sure what part of the country you're in. I should know that. I am a little less than a 2-hour drive, but I kind of figured I would be just as well served to have UPS. I also ordered UPS because our mail service leaves a bit to be desired. Okay, so we're starting off with Baltimore.
Hagerstown, Maryland.
Okay.
You were just in Maryland.
I was in Maryland back in July, I think. Maybe the weekend of July the 12th or the 20 something.
He also uses UPS.
Okay, yeah, good call. I know Mr. Herson's always talking about how the fiasco that the Atlanta Mail Distribution Center is, and I don't disagree with him. All mail is like that. Our mail guy retired, and we got a new person, which is good that we now have a dedicated person, and they don't have as much time built up as our mailman that retired did, because he'd been there about 30 years. So yeah, he had a lot of time built up. But he could take vacation. It seemed like he could take a week off every month or two. And that was not it seemed like when he came back from vacation, the fill-in substitute people hadn't delivered any packages. Shock, I know. Let's see, this is 1990. Steve Finley's still with Baltimore. We might have a little Kurt Schilling here with Baltimore. Chris Hoyles, he would have been 25. Let me see here. Steve Finley was 25. And they're both a little bit older than I am. We have another Dave Johnson, not the one that was the manager who passed away a short time ago. Ron Kittle, he was early 30s. It looks like 32. Ben McDonald's an A.
Okay, Dwayne says, "Yes, he does, Steve. I've seen my orders come to Hagerstown, then to Baltimore, and finally back to Hagerstown. USPS can be crazy."
Yes. Greg Olson, he's from Scribner, Nebraska. Do you know where that is?
No, I never heard of it.
Okay. Well, you graduated high school in Nebraska.
Never heard of it.
Okay. Billy Ripken. Cal Ripken. Cal Ripken was a 10 at shortstop. Here's Kurt Schilling. He's a AY reliever. I think he's a Hall of Famer myself. But I also think Bonds and Clemens and Don Mattingly and Del Murphy, and those guys are Hall of Famers. I'm leaning toward Steve Garvey not being a Hall of Famer. Mark Williamson, he's an AX reliever. And on the XC players, we got Mickey Weston got 21 innings, but he's a DZ, so he would actually qualify for tournaments.
Wayne says trading Kurt has to be one of the worst trades in Baltimore history.
Yeah, as a Reds fan, I would say the Frank Robinson trade was one of their best. Let's see here. We got Boston and okay, Larry Anderson. He's a AXYZ reliever. Marty Barrett, Mike Boddicker, who I traded in my basic APBA baseball league, along with a couple other guys. One of the guys I got back was Ojeda. I got a couple draft picks. Here's a Tom Bolton from Nashville, Tennessee. He's a B, just a straight B reliever.
Yes, it was, Steve. Getting Frank got them some World Series wins.
Yes. We have Bill Buckner. Ellis Burks. Roger Clemens is a AXYZ. 21-6, 1.93 ERA, 209 strikeouts. He was included in the morning lineup MLB newsletter trivia answer today. It was which pitchers had an under 2 ERA and over 200 strikeouts. He was one of the answers. There's Dwight Evans. I think he's a Hall of Famer. Gator, he passed away a short time ago, I believe. He wasn't that old. Yeah, he was 62. Wow. Greg Harris. Now, I believe he was the one that was ambidextrous. It says he bats both, but it doesn't say he throws both. So maybe he had dropped the. I'm thinking that was Greg Harris. I'm not totally sure. We have Randy Kuchar. He's from Anchorage, Alaska. Huh. Dennis Lamp. Mike Marshall, the first baseman, not the reliever. He's 65. John Marzano, didn't he die falling down some steps in his house? If I am not mistaken. That is he's got the same birthday as you, except he's 12 years, he would have been 12 years older.
Me?
Yeah. He was born on Valentine's Day. Let's see, there's Bob Murphy, Tim Naring. I always kind of liked Tim Naring. Tony Pena, he's a catcher 9. Looks like he was probably their starting catcher. Phil Plantier, he would have been 21 in 1990, so this is probably his rookie card. Carlos Quintana, he would have been 25. He was from Venezuela. Jeff Reardon, he's a BY. Let's see here. Here's a guy I've never heard of. Rick Lancelotti. That's a lot of letters. That is a long name. John Leister, not Lester, but Leister. He's a DW from San Antone. Let's see here. I don't know if there's any of the XCs for the Red Sox made any meaningful contributions. Yeah, it doesn't look like it. Here is California. Wow. Let's see here. Huh. Doesn't look like there are any White Sox in the XC, so they must have just had 30 or less on their roster. Jim Abbott was a C with the Angels. Scott Bells. Dante Bichette. He's about a year and a half older than I am. Burt Blyleven. He would have been 39 in 1990. He's a DZ. Chili Davis. He was just 30. Gary DiSarcina. Brian Downing. He was 40 that year. Wow. Mark Eichhorn. Mike Fetters. Chuck Finley was an AX. Brian Harvey from Saudi Daisy, the Twin Cities. He's a BKYW.
Saudi Daisy, the Twin Cities.
Yeah. Let's see. Mark Langston, he played with the Lookouts. He's a CX. Kurt McCaskill, he's a B. I'm thinking they might have had Mike Witt that year also. I can't remember. Rick Shue, SCHU. Lee Stevens, Max Venable, Devon White, Dave Winfield, Cliff Young, and then the XCs. We don't really have anybody that made any big contributions. And let's see here, White Sox. Okay. On the White Sox, no XCs. We got Phil Bradley, Ivan Calderon. When he was with the Lookouts, I don't remember if he was with the Lookouts or playing against the Lookouts, but I think one of the pitchers hit him and he charged the mound. And that was one of the better baseball fights I recall. Yeah, Ivan the Terrible, Calderon. The White Sox had Alex Fernandez. He was a 1C. Y. They had Pudge Fisk. He was a catcher 8. Scott Fletcher. Ozzie Guillen was a 9 shortstop. Greg Hibbard was a BZ. Sean Hilgis is a A reliever. Barry Jones, AY reliever. Eric King is a BZ starter. Steve Psycho Lyons played first, second, outfield, third, short, pitcher, everywhere but catcher. He's from Tacoma, Washington. Rodney McRae, I don't think that's the same guy who played for Louisville in the 1980 NCAA championship. Jack McDowell was a CX. Don Paul was a BZ reliever. Kim Patterson was a BYW reliever. Melito Perez, a CX starter. Adam Peterson, CR starter. Scott Rudensky, CXW. Sammy Sosa was a 2 outfielder. He had 15 home runs, 233 batting average, 282 on base. He had a 37 arm, so I guess that's why he kept getting chances. Bobby Thigpen was a A&C X reliever. Frank Thomas had 191 at bats, 7 home runs, hit 330 with a 454 on base. I would say his future looked a little better than Sammy's. Robin Ventura was a third base 4. That didn't look like too bad of a team. I think this was when Cleveland was starting to collect some of their players that ended up going to some World Series. A little further on in the decade, started being a contender. I must say, Cleveland is making up for Chicago White Sox not having XCs. Sandy Alomar was an 8 catcher. Baerga is a 4 third baseman, a 6 at second and shortstop. He had a 300 on base. You know, Joey Bell, Albert. He had 23 at bats, 1 home run, 174 batting average, 208 on base. He got a 1 at 66. Might be worth throwing him out there for some pinch hits. He's got a 40 and a 16. So, looks like he's got about maybe 10 or so 13s. Let's see. Jerome Brown was a second. He's a second baseman, 8, 353 on base. That wasn't bad. Candiotti's a BYZ starter. John Farrell, the former Red Sox coach, he might have been a manager with the Blue Jays. Can't remember. He's a C pitcher. Keith Hernandez was a 4 at first base. Hit 200. That might have been toward his last year. Brooke Jacoby third base for. 365 on base. Stan Jefferson, he's an outfield too. I remember him having some really good cards. That he was always a part-time player, but that's a good card. Doug Jones had 43 saves. He's a AYZ reliever. Mark McLemore, he was 26, played second, short, and third, only hit 150. Charles Nagy was 23. He was a D starter. Steve Olin, he was a BYZ reliever, D starter. Roscoe was a CX reliever. Let's see, Jeff Shaw was a D pitcher. I was playing a game with somebody. He was an A. He was 24, so that might have been my 98 games I've been playing. He was the A reliever for the Dodgers, I believe. Joe Skinner was an 8 catcher. Greg Swindell was a CYZ starter. Turner Ward, he had some good. Yeah, this isn't a bad card. He's got a 7 at 55, 11, 15, 10 on 25. 1, 2 14s, a 3 on 66, 5 on 11 and 33. Hit 348 with a 388 on base. That's a good pinch hitting card. Let's see. It looks like wow, they had Rafael Santana as an 8 shortstop in the XCs. He only got 13 at bats. And Kevin Wickander, he's 12 innings as a reliever. He's a CX. I remember him thinking it was with the Indians. Let's see. I've got Detroit here. Okay, Detroit. Okay. Dave Bergman. Cecil Fielder had 51 home runs. He's a first baseman too for the Tigers. Let's see here. Mike Henneman was a BZ reliever for the Tigers. Got Chet Lemon was an outfield too. 359 on base, 258 batting average. That wasn't bad. Scott Lusader. I think he was on the Twins that won the World Series in the 91. So he must have got traded or signed in the offseason. Lance McCullers, senior. He's a BY reliever. He's a D starter. Jack Morris is a CY. Let's see here. Lloyd Mosby played with the Tigers. I'd forgotten that. Ed Nunez is an AX reliever. Tony Phillips played third, second, short, and outfield. He had a 364 on base. Jeff Robinson was a CW starter. Let's see. I know we got Trammell and Whitaker in here. Steve Searcy from Knoxville. He's a CXW starter. Let's see. Frank Tanana was a DY starter. Walt Terrell, D starter. Alan Trammell's a 9 at shortstop. Lou Whitaker's a 8 at second base. And then of their XCs, nobody really notable. Milwaukee was still in the American League. Okay, so we got Kansas City next. Oh, Jeff Conine was still with Kansas City. Well, Kansas City's got a lot of. Okay, they've got. Looks like maybe 7 or 8 XCs. Okay. Kansas City. George Brett must have been out that year because I'm not seeing a card for him. I didn't go through the XCs as well as I probably could have. Let's look. Let's cheat. Look in the back.
Ron McGrath says hello, Steve.
Hey, Ron. You know, I am not seeing George Brett. I don't remember what happened to George Brett in 1990. Was that the year he might have been hurt for something or had a bad back or I don't know. Let's see here. Jeff Conine. Let's see. Oh, wait. I must have mixed these up because here's APBA, Aquino, Boone. Here's George Brett, 329, 387. I was kind of thinking he might have won the batting title because I don't think he had a year where he missed a whole year for injury. Oh, those were the XCs I put in front instead of in back. Okay, that's on me. Shocker. Mark Davis. I know at some point I think he won a Cy Young maybe in the National League. Rich Dodson. Jim Eisenreich. He's a 2 outfielder. Steve Farr was a BX starter, A reliever. Tom Gordon was a BXW starter. Mark Gubizov, he was a CX starter. Bo Jackson was an outfield 3. He could have been a great one if he could have stayed healthy. Steve Jeltz. He was a second baseman, shortstop, third base, outfield. third base 4, shortstop 8, second base 7. So he was kind of middle of the row defensively, but he played a lot of positions. That's got value. Andy McGaffigan was a CY starter. Jeff Montgomery's an AXYZ reliever. Bill Pacoda, he played second, short, third, first, outfield. He wasn't bad. Gerald Perry was a first base 3. Brett Saberhagen's a BYZ. This probably wouldn't be too bad of a tournament team. Kevin Seitzer, third base 4. He's okay. Kurt Stillwell. That might have been who the Reds traded to get Danny Jackson. Danny Tartable. Yeah, there was a Frank White was hanging around. He would have been 40 in September of that year. Willie Wilson. And then I've already gone through the XC, so that's not a bad team. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so we're halfway through the American League. Okay. Chris Bosio, CYZ. This is the Milwaukee Brewers. Kevin D. Brown, not the one that played with the Rangers and the Marlins and the Padres and the Yankees, and he played with a few teams. Chuck Krim was a BZ reliever. Rob Deere had 27 home runs, hit 209, 155. A lot of 13s on there. Jim Gantner was a second base 8, third base 4. That's not bad. Darrell Hamilton, outfield 2. Teddy Higuera, CXZ. Mark Knudsen, CRZ. Bill Kruger, he's just straight C. Mark Lee, BYZ. Julio Machado, he's a AX reliever. Now this is crazy. Tim McIntosh is in the regular base set, and he's only got 5 at bats. He does have 3 ones. He had 5 at bats, had 1 hit. It was a home run solo. So he had played in 5 games. He was a catcher 5, so he was probably a pinch hitter. Paul Marabella, he was a B reliever, D starter. Molitor was already DHing apparently. He's a second base 6, first base 3, third base 3. Jaime Navarro is a CZ. Dave Parker he must have DH'd full time. He's a first base 2, had 610 at bats in 157 games. So Molitor must not have been DHing a whole lot. Dan Plesac is a CXY reliever. We got a, let's see here. We have Ron Robinson was a BZ starter. Gary Sheffield is a third base 4. Well, he was 20. He turned 22 after the season. So he was 21 during the season. That was pretty young. Billy Spires is a shortstop 8. BJ Surhoff is a catcher 8. Greg Vaughn got a 14 asterisk, 17 home runs and 382 at bats, 220 batting average, 280 on base. He's an outfield 1. Randy Veras is a B reliever. And we got Robin Yountz in outfield 3. Only hit 247. Not one of his better years. Let's see here. Tito Francona. I think that might have been his last year. I can't remember. He was only 31. He might have hung around a year or 2 more. He had scored 1 run and 4 at bats. So, not a bad team. Okay, Minnesota. Okay. This is the year before they won the World Series. They had Rick Aguilera, BXYZ, 32 saves. Juan Berenguer, he was a BXW. Scott Erickson was a B starter. Gary Gaetti is a third base 5. 6 shortstop, 2 first base. Greg Gagney's a shortstop 9, outfield 1. Dan Gladden's an outfield 2. Mark Guthrie's a CYZ starter. Brian Harper hit 294. He's a catcher 7, third base 3, first base 2, 328 on base. Kent Herbeck's first base 5. Hit 287 with a 377 on base. Terry Leach is a BYZZ reliever. Shane Mack is an outfield 3. Hit 326 with a 392 on base. Junior Ortiz hit 335 with a 384 on base. He's a catcher 7. Kirby Puckett is an outfield 3, second base 5, third base 3, shortstop 6. Hit 298 with 365 on base. Kevin Tappaney's a CYZ starter. And in their XCs, they didn't have anybody that made any real contribution. Okay. We have the Yankees. I did not remember Mike Witt pitched with the Yankees. Okay, we got are these the I put the XCs in front, didn't I? Yeah, I did. They actually have some XCs that made a contribution. Let me slip them around to the back. Balboni, first base 2, 192, batting average 291 on base. Greg Catares, a BYW reliever, D starter. Rick Cerrone's a catcher 7, hit 302, 324 on base. Dave Island is a CZ starter. Alvaro Espinoza is a shortstop 8. Bob Guerin's a catcher 6. Lee Gooderman, born in Chattanooga, Tennessee. He is a BZ reliever. I think we went to the same college, not at the same time. Roberto Kelly. I think they got him in the Paul O'Neill, or they gave him up for Paul O'Neill, which was a good trade for the Yankees. Bad trade for the Reds. Let's see here.
I fell asleep over here, but we got conversation going.
Oh. What's being said?
Let's see. G Puck C6331 says, "Hi KC, Dwayne, and chat. Hi G Puck. It has been a while since I've seen you. Hope all is well. All is great, Ty. Just playing my game. Glad to hear that. Great job on your APBA baseball DM. Thanks, G Puck. I appreciate. Nothing better than a brand new brick of APBA cards. Dwayne says correct, just like Steve. Only thing better is 2. Haha, stand corrected.
Don Mattingly, one of my favorites.
It's almost my bedtime, so you need to wrap her on up.
Well, I can probably figure out how to stop it. He's a first base 5. That was after he'd hurt his back and he only hit 5 home runs. Eric Plunk was an AXYW. Dave Righetti was a BX reliever. Plunk was a reliever as well. Deion Sanders, outfield 2, hit 158, 8 stolen bases. He got a 14 asterisk at 55. He's got 111 in the first column, 611s in the second column. I was a big Deion fan, especially after he dumped that water cooler on Tim McCarver. Let's see here. Claudell Washington was an outfield 2, hit 167. He was about done. Mike Witt was a CY. So Steve Atkins was an XC. He got 24 innings pitched, DW. You going to bed? Okay. Pascal Perez was a BXYZ starter, but he only had 14 innings. So I can no longer see the chat. Although,
You have an iPad.
yeah, hand me my iPad. Hand it to me when you get up to leave. Thank you. Let's see here.
I gotta work early in the morning.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Well, go ahead and go to bed.
I want to actually relax. I haven't had a chance to relax yet.
Okay, we'll go watch TV. I know me telling you what to do just helps you relax.
Yeah.
Let's see. How do I? Oh, I got to switch counts on this one. Let's go. Okay, now I should be able to see the chat if I can find the video. Is it on here?
You just click on out the chat or live.
It's hard to believe I have technical problems. Well,
Let me pull it up for you before I leave.
oh wait, live.
There you
Is that it? No.
go. Let me
Did you find it? I'm on my APBA chatter. What did I do?
I thought you were switching accounts.
I was. I switched to my APBA chatter account. Okay, Oakland A's. Here's a guy named Troy Affineer. He's a catcher, 6. He got a World Series runner-up ring if they give those. Oh, okay. Harold Baines, outfield 1. Let's see. Canseco was an outfield 2. Wow, he has got a lot of 13s. And by a lot, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe 9. He has several. Just, I'll get it.
It's frozen.
Okay, here.
Oh.
Eckersley's an A and B K double Z reliever. A 0.61 ERA. He gave up 2 home runs.
You click that live right there underneath your picture, or your picture sideways.
Oh, is that this one? I thought that was the.
That's where you're on right
That's
now.
me.
Oh, amazing.
You have. Why is this so small?
Come on, dog.
Yeah. Hold on a second. Let me. Oh, and the chat showed up. Okay. Hey, Nolan. Okay. Okay. Huh. Let's see. There's David Henderson. He was a good ball player. Ricky Henderson. He had a 1 at 66, 5 at 11, 5 at 33, 2 14 asterisks, 2 11s, a 10. Yeah. He had a 25 arm. I would say you would run on that. Rick Honeycutt, born in Chattanooga, Tennessee. He's a BY reliever. Joe Klink is an A reliever. Carney Lansford is a 5 third baseman. Darren Lewis. He was a 23-year-old 2-rated outfielder for the A's. I believe I remember him playing with the Giants and then the Reds. Let's see here. Willie McGee. He's an outfield 2. Hit 324. McGuire is a first base 4. He's a 1-1-6 power numbers. I'm not seeing as many 13s on his card as I did on Canseco, and he has a few more 14s. Let me compare them here. Well, let me see. Canseco had 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, he had 4 14s. McGuire has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 14s. Canseco only played in 131 games. They both 370, 371 on base. Canseco was 1 point higher. Batting average, Canseco was 274, McGuire was 235. Canseco had a 543 slugging, and McGuire was 489. McGuire had 2 more home runs and looks like 25 more games and 42 more at bats. So the ratio for their walks was probably fairly close. That's pretty interesting now. Mike Moore, I believe, is the 3rd starter, and he's a CR. Gene Nelson, A and C, Z reliever. Let's see here. Willie Randolph was a second base 7. Scott Sanderson was a CY starter, so he was probably the 3rd starter. Dave Stewart was, I think he was the 2nd starter. He was an AY. New Braves manager Walt Weiss was a shortstop 9. Well, Bob Welch is a starter. Let me see here. Yeah, Stewart had a little bit better ERA, but Stewart was 22 and 11. Welch was 27 and 6. Welch probably got the Cy Young that year. I can't remember because he had 27 wins, as voted on by the not so bright sports writers. Let's see here. We got Seattle. Okay. Let's see. Seattle had both Griffies, I believe. Jay Buhner, he was 26. He's a 2 outfielder. Alvin Davis, first base 3, 283 batting average, 387 on base. Let's see here. Yeah, there's senior. King Griffey Jr., first outfield 3. He's hit 300 with a 366 on base, 22 homers, 16 stolen bases. His dad hit 300, 353 on base. He had 2 stolen bases, and he turned 40 on April 10th, so right at the start of the season. They're both born in Denora, Pennsylvania, which is also where Stan Musial was born. Eric Hansen, BXYZ starter. That was pretty good. Randy Johnson was a BXW starter. Let's see here. Jeff Leonard. Wasn't he the one flap down guy? Edgar Martinez hit 302 at 397 on base. He was a third base 4 that year. So that was when he could still use a glove. Tino Martinez, first base 2. Pete O'Brien was first base 4. Harold Reynolds, second base 8. Mike Schooler is a AXZ reliever. Russ Swan. I'm thinking of Craig Swan, pitched with the Mets. Bill Swift was a BRZZ starter, A reliever. And they had Omar Vizcal. He's a shortstop 8. And Matt Young was a BX. That's not a totally bad tournament type team. They had Dave Burba, pitched 8 innings. That's not a bad little team. Let's see here. Looks like we got 2 more American League teams. Okay, we're going to get Texas. Okay. Brad Arnsberg, AYW reliever. Kevin Brown from Georgia Tech. He's a B starter for the Rangers. I've got a good friend who pitched at Georgia Tech the year before Kevin Brown got there. Let's see. Here's a Scott. It looks like maybe Kyle Perino. He's a B starter with only 38 innings. Julio Franco, he was just 32. So he was only about halfway into his baseball career. Maybe even less than that. Juan Gonzalez, he was 20. He turned 21 after the season in October. So he played that year as a 20-year-old pretty much. Charlie Huff was a CW. Wow, he was 42, and he was still around a few years later to pitch for the Marlins. It's pretty amazing. Pete Incaviglia. Mike Jeffcoat was an AZ reliever D starter. Okay. Jamie Moyer was a young 27 during the season. He turned 28 after the season. He was a DC reliever. Rafael Palmeiro was a 4 first base. Gary Pettis, 3 outfielder. Kevin Reimer, I think he played with the Lookouts. He was from Macon, Georgia. Let's see, Kenny Rogers. He was a CX starter B reliever. Another one of my favorite players is Lynn Nolan Ryan. That's who my dog's named after. I think he went upstairs with the wife. He was a BK starter. Pitched 204 innings at the age of 43. Struck out 232 batters. Only gave up 18 home runs in 204 innings. Okay, he pitched 204 innings, started 30 games. So that's over 6 innings a start. The difference between 1990 and 2025 as a 43-year-old, yeah, Nolan Ryan's a J3. He would be a J0 if he threw 204 innings in 2024 with, different ball game. Mike Stanley was a catcher 6, third base 3, first base 2. Hit 249, 350 on base, so he was right at 10% walk rate. Bobby Witt, senior, BXYW. Let's see, their XCs, they didn't really have anybody that made any contribution here. Yeah. Okay, and then we got Toronto. Okay. George Bell, outfield 1, 21 home runs, 265 batting average, 303 on base. Bud Black was a BZ starter. Willie Blair is a DY starter, B reliever. John Candelaria, he's a DXZ starter, B reliever. Let's see here. Let's see. Tony Fernandez is a shortstop 9. Kelly Gruber is the third base 5. He played with the Lookouts. He's an outfield 2. Tom Hinkey's a AXYZ reliever with 32 saves, 75 innings. Glenn Allen Hill, he has a 1 with 3 zeros and 11 at 15. 231 on base, 281 on base, 231 batting average. Played 84 games, 260 at bats with 12 homers. He could always crush the ball. Let's see here. Jimmy Key is a CYZZ starter. 27 games started, 155 innings pitched. He's also a J3. Jimmy Key had a 4.25 ERA. Wow. Fred McGriff hit 300 with a 400 on base, 35 home runs. What was Toronto thinking getting rid of him? I think that might have been in the Robbie Alomar trade. Let's see here. John Olerud hit 265, 364 on base. When he played with when he played with Ricky Henderson and they were both on the Mets, and Ricky told him, "Yeah, I played with a guy in Toronto that wore a helmet." And Olerud was like, "Yeah, that was me." Let's see. Dave Steeb, BY. Todd Stottlemyre. Dwayne Ward, BXYZ reliever. David Wells, BYZ starter. Hard hitting Mark Whitten, he's an outfield 1. That wasn't one of his harder hitting years. He hit 273 with 323 on base, but he only had 2 home runs. Let's see here. I think we're about to the next season. Mookie Wilson hit 265, 300 on base. Outfield 2, 3 home runs, 23 stolen bases. And they didn't have any XCs, it looks like, who made big contributions. The team so far that's had the best XCs have been the Yankees, and I mean, that kind of goes along with it because they were a last place team, or they might have been a 6th place team. I know they weren't very good. That's the American League. I can go through the National League, it probably won't be as quick because I'm a little more of a National League guy. Of course, that probably has to do with the two closest teams are the Braves and Reds, who I get blacked out for. But this year I was able to, for a small fee, purchase the FanDuel package to get the Reds and the Braves. And then I would listen to the broadcast on my MLB.TV, and then I'd have that on another screen. Steve Avery, DY for the Braves. Jeff Blauser was a shortstop 8. That must have been one of his better defensive years because I don't remember him. He was just 25. I don't remember him being much of a defensive shortstop. He had a couple years, I guess, where he was okay. Nick Osaski was a first base 2, and what happened to him after they got him from the Reds? I think he got vertigo or something. Marvin Freeman was a DX starter, B reliever. Ron Gant, 30-30 man, hit 303, 357 on base, 155, 6 power numbers. 11 at 15, 10 at 25, and 51. Outfield 2. I think this was still the last place Braves. But yeah, they were getting the pieces in place to where they made trades following year and got Sid Bream and Terry Pendleton. And Smoltz and Glavine kind of came into their own, and Steve Avery. Glavine's a CY starter. Let's see here. Dave Justice, I believe, Rookie of the Year in 1990. First base 3, outfield 2, 282 batting average, 373 on base, 23 home runs. Had 2 1s, 2 0s, 10s at 15 and 25. That'll play. He got the 41 for being a first baseman. 37, 20 at 53. Not a bad card. Let's see here. Charlie Lee Brandt was a BZ starter. Mark Lemke was a third base 4, second base 7, shortstop 7. He didn't do a whole lot offensively. Let's see here. Kent Merker, BXW reliever. Greg Olson was a 7 catcher. Jim Presley, yeah, he was a third base 4, 242 batting average, 282 on base. That's why they got Terry Pendleton, who I believe won the MVP in 1991. Bonds probably should have won it. Lonnie Smith hit 305, 384 on base. He's an outfield 1. John Smoltz was a CY. Mike Stanton was a DYZ reliever, 18 ERA in 7 innings pitched. So let's see. Andres Thomas, he was a 7 shortstop. I never was a big fan of his. Let's see. Jody Davis, I believe I played softball against him a few years after that. He was 34 after the season. But he was a catcher, so he was near the end. Yeah, the Braves they were getting some pieces in place. Let's see, here's the Cubs. Okay, Paul Ossenmacher, DXY, A reliever. Damon Berryhill, 7 starter. Mike Bilecki, DY starter. Sean Bosky, 2C starter. Now, Dave Clark has a 147 at 66, 11, and 33. He has 11 on 15, 10 on 25. He's an outfield 1, hit 275 with a 304 on base. He has 16 at 53, a 14 at 36, 13 on 13, and a 40 on 45. Let's see here. Andre Dawson is an outfield 2. Hit 310, 358 on base, 1556, 7 with an 11 on 55, or 11 on 15, 8 on 55, 8 on 25, 8 on 31, and 8 on 51. Not a whole lot of cards get 4/8s, do they? Sean Dunston only had 2/8s. He had 1, 3, 6. Had 11 on 15, 10 on 55. He's a shortstop 9. 263 batting average, 283 on base. He did get a 14 at 45, a 23 on 13. Let's see here. Mark Grace, first base 4. Hit 309, 372 on base. Mike Harkey was a B starter. You know who I'm looking for in the starting pitching here for the Cubs. Bill Long. Here we go. Greg Maddux. BYZ. Yeah, he's an H. Gave up 11 home runs in 237 innings. Let's see here. I dropped the card. Okay, that was Nunez. Where did he go? He went here after Derek May. Let's see here. Ryan Sandberg, second baseman, 9. Okay. Gary Varsho. I think his son's a better player than he is. Hector Villanueva, catcher 6. Always liked him. Mitch Williams, DXW starter, B reliever, 16 saves. Rick Rona, he's a catcher 6. Okay, and Rick Sutcliffe was a DRW starter. He's an XC. So now we're getting to the team basically that I bought the set for. I know I could have bought the World Series set, but there's other teams I want too. Okay, we've got the Cincinnati Reds. Okay, they don't have any XCs. Jack Armstrong, BY. Wow, Billy Bates. 34 at bats. I know he scored a big run in the World Series or the NLCS or something. 088 batting average, 179 on base percentage, 22 games, 34 at bats, 3 hits, 6 stolen bases. Yeah, I'd take that, I guess. He's got a 3 14s with an asterisk. It's 66. He has a 6 with an asterisk. And at 33, he has an 8 with an asterisk. He also has an 11 at 15. Yeah, I think that would be tough for him to get his numbers there. But I'm guessing he pinch runs a bit. 34 at bats, 3 hits. That would be good exercise for him. Let's see here. Okay, Tom Browning, CZ from Casper, Wyoming, went to Tennessee Wesleyan in the Athens, Tennessee, which is up I-75, about 45 minutes maybe. Norm Charlton, BXW starter. He had 2 saves, pitched in 56 games, started 16. Eric the Red Davis, outfield 3, 260 batting average, 347 on base, 24 homers, 21 steals. He's got a 1 and 3 zeros, 11 on 15. Always liked him. Rob Dibble, A and C, KX reliever. Billy Doran, 8 second baseman. Oh, man. Chris Hammond. I think he pitched with the Lookouts, maybe. He's a DRW starter, but he only pitched 11 innings. Billy Hatcher, outfield 2. Danny Jackson, CY starter. Barry Larkin, 9 shortstop. That's an interesting card. He has 0.67 on 66, 11, and 33. He's got a 7 at 22, 11 at 15, 10 on 25. He's got a 18 on 53, a 22 on 61, a 39 on 62, a 23 on 64. He's got a couple 14s on there. He hit 301. Tim Leana, he's a BYW. Had 80 innings. Rick Mahler, he's a CZ. I didn't remember him pitching with the Reds. I remember him with the Braves. He was opening day starter like 5 or 6 years in a row, I believe. So, Randy Myers, AK reliever. Ron Oster, 7, second base. Paul O'Neill, outfield 2. Luis Quiñones, third base 4, shortstop 6, shortstop 7, first base 2. Jose Rijo, BX. Chris Sabos, a third base 5. He's got a 1 and 3 zeros, an 11 at 15, a 10 at 25. That's not a bad card. Let's see. Herm Winningham's an outfield 3. He's got a 3, 4, 5 power numbers. 11, 15, 10 at 25. So, well, guys, I think I'm going to shut her down. It is almost 9:30. And if any of y'all are going to Delaware tomorrow for the Dick Moore APBA Fest, have a good time. Have a safe trip if you're not already there. Thanks for watching. Enjoyed following along in the chat. And I'll be doing the drawing or doing the team selections for the Charlie Fouché APBA shootout. I'll have a video announcing who the people selected for their teams that evening, probably around 6 or 7 o'clock. I believe that's the 29th, I believe. 26 is Wednesday. That's my anniversary and Ron Jucket's birthday. 27 is Thanksgiving. 28 is Friday. 29 is the Saturday of the team selection for the shootout. So that'll begin at noon. So I'll have a video announcing teams there. If you got any questions or any answers, leave them in the comment. And I'll look forward to responding or at least reading them. I'll give you a thumbs up and a little heart thing. So, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll look forward to seeing y'all in other videos around the community. Thanks a lot. Bye. Hey, Nolan. Come here, buddy.